everybody. Welcome to the show today, guys. This is a big one. Not only do we have it where we have representatives that are saying that there's 20 celebrity names in the Epstein files that have been released that they are fighting to get fully released. Trump has just dropped the cost of some huge medications, big time, that we're going to go over in just a moment to help out everybody. And we finally know the reason why Dan Bongino left the FBI. Guys, this is some of the biggest stuff ever. But again, too, when you have true patriots like Dan Bongino who leave the FBI just after 1 year and you find out why, it's right here. We've got all the breaking news for you today, guys. The files have been released. We got a ton of photos, especially of former President Clinton. And now there's about 20 names of celebrities that are on the files that we have Representative Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie who are filing articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi because they said they know the names of 20 celebrities that should be on the files but were redacted. Guys, this is from leaked congressional leaders that say they have the proof, they know what's in there, and with all the percentage, 90% of the files of the Epstein files were redacted. They are now looking to impeach Pam Bondi from her position as Attorney General. And now we finally know, guys, this is some big breaking news. Dan Bongino resigned as Deputy Director of the FBI because he was unhappy with the DOJ's plans around the Epstein files release. So much has happened around these files, guys. We want to get into it. We want to show you the details when you lose a guy like Dan Bongino because he wanted to expose, go after the corrupt celebrities, go after the people that did harm to all these girls. And with everything that's happened, a lot of fingers are being pointed at Pam Bondi. Something's being covered up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this is big, big news today. I don't know about y'all guys, but again, when you see Dan Bongino leaving the FBI over the Epstein files, you know something is bad. Thomas Massie said that there's at least 20 Epstein clients to be named when the full Epstein files are released. He says attorneys representing the victims have confirmed the identities of the men accused of trafficking children. Guys, this is big stuff that's coming out. Articles of impeachment are now being drafted against Attorney General Pam Bondi by Representative Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie in a bipartisan move to move forward with removing Pam Bondi as the AG, claiming that not enough of the Epstein files were released, with almost 90% of the files being redacted, fully blacked out, so that we can't even see what actually happened. And not only that, guys, here's another bombshell that you probably didn't see coming. But Representative Elise Stefanik, you know her, she's awesome, has suspended her campaign for the 2026 New York governor and is not running for re-election for the House either. So people are dropping. Why? You got Dan Bongino, you got Elise Stefanik. What the heck? You have now where Scott Jennings has literally thrown the Democrats into a huge rage because he's literally putting it out on CNN. These aren't the Epstein files anymore. These are the Clinton files. Because Bill Clinton is in a ton of these, guys. It is bad. And when it comes to the money, guys, I'm telling you, people are fed up. There's a lot of this breaking news that a lot of people are upset over today is the Pentagon has failed its 8th audit in a row. Just after we passed a $901 billion one-year budget for the Pentagon. Always telling you to follow the money, everybody. It's absurd how money is thrown left and right with no accountability whatsoever. 8th year in a row, it's failed its audit, but yet we are still throwing almost $1 trillion at our defense budget, and not knowing where this money is going is a huge problem. People are upset over this. People want Trump to get involved. We're going to show you what he's doing in just a moment because a lot of this sounds like a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. Guys, if you appreciate this news, guys, we got a big show for you today. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button for us. Want to say if you're watching, not part of the family yet, please hit that subscribe button. Let us take care of you with the breaking news. I'm telling you, I'm still shook that now we know that Dan Bongino left the FBI as a director because of how the Epstein files were released, where they redacted almost 90% of the files. And he said, I'm gone. I'm going to show you all the receipts in a moment, guys. Big stuff. Want to say thank you to everybody who's given to our giving, guys, of our donations every single month. On the 22nd, we're donating to a local charity. Guys, this is the Christmas season. Such a blessing to have so many wonderful people that are part of our community, that are giving, that are members. We couldn't do it without you. Show Michelle H. some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your support, as well as Thomas Crosby. Thank you so much, brother, for your kindness and support. Show Michelle some love. Show Thomas some love. And again, guys, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. And don't forget our partner chapter, guys. If you are 65 or you're about to turn 65 or you're older than 65 and you have Medicare, do not miss this opportunity to get your blessing. We've had so many people, hundreds and hundreds of people on this channel save thousands of dollars by calling this number. It's a free service to you. The number's in the description. The number is 667-895-3015. I promise you'll be blessed. Too many blessings, too many testimonials. Go get your blessing. Do not pay for healthcare more than you have to, because if you're going through any life change, whether it's a job change, you're moving states, you're switching healthcare, call them up, and I promise you, they will help you out. It's free to you, and you will be blessed. The stuff that is coming out today, guys, I'm telling you, I'm really shook over this Dan Bongino stuff, but I want you to hear everything, see the receipts, because a lot of things are about to change. A lot of people are leaving the Republican Party right now, which presents an opportunity for us to put MAGA people in there, but there's still a lot that we got to figure out. Listen to this.
On a ton of Epstein files. Our producers are going through them, packed with never-before-seen documents and photographs of Bill Clinton and major celebrities. Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has the details. Mike.
Jesse, good evening. There are hundreds of thousands of documents which the Justice Department began posting online late this afternoon. The documents are not labeled with much detail, so it's very time-consuming sorting through them. There are multiple photos of former President Bill Clinton. He is clearly recognizable, along with rock star Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. Another one is labeled St. Trop Clinton Morocco Nude. There are redactions, but we don't have much context. In some cases, faces are blacked out. The Justice Department says that is to protect any potential victims. There is a shot of former President Bill Clinton in a hot tub, but like many of these photos, it doesn't have any context provided by the DOJ. There is also a photo of Mr. Clinton with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. The image includes a couple of victims or minors who have been blacked out. There are some significant redactions in the documents. For example, a document titled Masseuses, 7 pages with 254 lines, presumably names, all of them are blacked out. There's a note at the top indicating they are blacked out to protect victim information. The reason for the timing is 1 month ago, Congress passed a measure signed into law by President Trump. It called on DOJ to upload all the Epstein documents to a website the public could search. The law also states, quote, no record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. Democrats are threatening legal action if all the documents are not up on the website by midnight. Jesse?
Guys, and this is big stuff that's happening right now, guys, because this is what a lot of the files look like right here. Check this out. They're all just blacked out. It is insane how much we have seen that has come from this, that is blacked out, blacked out, blacked out. Now, because this was signed, the Transparency Act, it was actually passed, everybody. This is big signs that already Thomas Massie and his people are going after Pam Bondi, saying that there's potential for her to be convicted now of a crime because she illegally withheld. Thomas Massie says future DOJ could convict Pam Bondi for illegally redacting documents in the Epstein files. He also came out and said that they are at least 20 Epstein clients to be named when the full Epstein files are released. Guys, this is insane stuff. Like, all this has just come out. We are seeing now, again, the number one reason that Dan Bongino left the FBI was over the Epstein files, guys. Right here, breaking news. Dan Bongino announced his resignation this week because he was unhappy with the DOJ's plans around the Epstein files release. Huge breaking news, guys. This is what we're finding out, that this is messed up. There's a lot of people, a lot of celebrities that are being protected, a lot of rich people that are being protected, and this is the people looking at a two-tiered system, and now they're going after Pam Bondi. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because again, we're just showing you the receipts of what's out there. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is big stuff. James Comer is now getting into this because Pam Bondi redacted files she wasn't allowed to redact. This is nuts, guys. I'm telling you. It's like, I hate it because it's like things are turning in within the Republican Party, but she was supposed to do it, and now they're going after her. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Kim O'Neon, thank you so much for your support. Show Kim and Neon some love in the chat. We will consider giving to animal shelters in the future. Thank you so much for your support. It's Donna Storino. Thank you so much for your support. Show Donna some love in the chat, as well as Jennifer Lewis, member of the channel. Jennifer, you are so kind. Show Jennifer some love in the chat. Said, my heart has been greatly blessed by 31 precious foster children. This donation is for the kids so they can be a kid and a smile. Let's go. That's what it's all about. Show Jennifer some love in the chat. That is such a blessing. Guys, because I'm telling you, if we cannot have true justice in America, then we're going to lose it all. Listen to this.
Fox News alert, the Justice Department starting to release hundreds of thousands of pages of Epstein files. Today was the deadline. We're starting to see new photos of former President Bill Clinton pictured with disgraced billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. Fox Digital is reporting there are 1,200 victims and their families discovered through this process.
Again, 1,200 victims, guys. This is not a small thing. This is not something little. And I'm freaking tired of us not seeing somebody being arrested, but with what Thomas Massie just put out, and a lot of people don't like Thomas Massie, but at least he's the one who's a front runner fighting for these victims. What you're about to hear next has pressured James Comer into what you're about to hear next, and it's about dang time.
Bring in House Oversight Committee Chairman, Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Congressman, I understand that you have already seen much of what is being released today. Is that correct? And what have you seen?
Well, we've seen a lot of documents. What I think's not been accurately understood by most Americans is the Trump Department of Justice. They have released several thousand pages of documents. Now, what they've released in the last 30 minutes is another several 100,000 pages, some of which we may have already had, but we're going through them as we speak. It'll take several days to go through all of these documents, but this is what the American people wanted. This is what Congress overwhelmingly voted for, and I applaud the Trump administration for complying with this request and getting these documents so that everyone can lay eyes on them and judge for themselves who the bad guys are in this whole disastrous Epstein saga.
Well, as you mentioned, it's going to take some time to make it our way through that many thousands of pages. One thing that we can do is try to search for those new photos reportedly of former President Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein, and we're working on that actively to bring to you here, hopefully within the next hour, within the next couple of minutes here on the Will Cain Show.
And guys, I want to show you this too, because this is the receipts. Because of what has happened, because 90% of the files were redacted, 90% of, look, it's just black. A lot of this, look, is just black of what was put out. So because of that, this is happening, guys. Get ready for arrest to come soon. Listen to this, because this is actual movement from Congress over what has happened, because Pam Bondi and the DOJ did not comply with the actual bill, the Transparency Act. This is big. This is where they're going after Pam Bondi. And let me know, do you think she should be fired now? She should resign because of this?
How will you know if they've released all the materials? Well, one of the ways we'll know is there are people who have covered this case for years, and I've talked to them in private, and they know what some of the material is that's back there. But the other way that we're going to know is the victims' lawyers have been in contact with me, and collectively they know there are at least 20 names of men who are accused of sex.
You heard that, 20 names. We already know that there's 1,200 victims, everybody. This is big stuff.
Crimes in the possession of the FBI. These would reside in the FD 302 forms. The FBI fills out these forms to summarize or memorialize what a witness gave them as far as testimony when they interviewed with the FBI. So if we get a large production on December 19th, and it does not contain a single name of any male who's accused of a sex crime or sex trafficking or rape or any of these things, then we know they haven't produced all the documents. It's that simple.
And again, now we know nothing came forward, so this is happening right here. Thomas Massie says a future DOJ could convict Pam Bondi for illegally redacting the documents in the Epstein files, and now it's this, him and Ro Khanna. I'm telling you guys, and I'm seeing on my side a lot of bipartisan support because there's a lot of Democrats that just want Pam Bondi out just because. And so now this is happening. Guys, I'm telling you, whatever's trying to be protected, who's being protected, what the cover-up is, it's about to go down. We're probably about to lose Pam Bondi because of this, what you're hearing right here. Because again, it's not that the Democrats are trying to not release the Epstein files or to protect them. It's they just want Pam Bondi out.
The Justice Department's document dump this afternoon does not comply with Thomas Massie and my Epstein Transparency Act. They released one document from a New York grand jury of 119 pages, totally blacked out. This despite a federal judge ordering them to release that document. And our law requires them to explain redactions. There's not a single explanation for why that entire document was redacted. We have not seen the draft indictment that implicates other rich and powerful men who were on Epstein's rape island, who either watched the abuse of young girls or participated in the abuse of young girls and the sex trafficking. The reality is Pam Bondi has obfuscated for months. She first said there were no more documents to be seen. Now she's admitting and releasing hundreds of thousands of documents, but it is an incomplete release with too many redactions. Thomas Massie and I are exploring all options. It can be the impeachment of people at justice, inherent contempt, or referring for prosecution those who are obstructing justice. We will work with the survivors to demand the full release of these files, to demand justice for the Epstein class and accountability.
I'm telling you guys, because again, there's no way on God's green earth that we 100% have these files, and yet there is no arrest. There is nobody that's exposed. There's no way. Somebody's being covered up. Somebody's been paid off. We do know that there's a lot of photos featuring Mick Jagger, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker. There's a lot of them, guys. But there's nothing that's been said about any arrest or anything like that apart from Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, not from the DOJ. So now, again, we go back to James Comer. And James Comer, what they're going to do from Congress, because this is going to affect every single person. If the DOJ is not going to do it, then Congress, listen to this.
But you're right. The American people deserve transparency and demand transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. So can we trust that this new document dump will not be overly redacted beyond what is obviously necessary to protect the identity of victims?
Well, I would assume at some point I will be able to lay eyes on the unredacted versions. We know that the victims want their names redacted, so there's going to be a lot of black lines for these documents because there are over 1,200 victims now, according to the Department of Justice. So that's a lot of redactions in itself when they describe the names and addresses of the victims and things that would lead people to understand who those victims were. This is one of the biggest requests from the victims is that they remain anonymous. They don't want to go through this again, and I respect their wishes, and I know the Trump Department of Justice does as well. But if we find that there's any type of effort to redact the names of victimizers, people who were involved in terrible crimes against these women, then I can tell you my committee, the Oversight Committee, will be the first to
y'all.
unredact and shine a light on those names because we want people to be held accountable for what was done wrong. We also want to know why the government failed in so many years. These crimes went on for decades, through 5 different presidential administrations before Epstein was finally put in jail. So there are a lot of questions that the American people have, and we're going to do everything we can on the House Oversight Committee to get answers, and hopefully it'll be bipartisan. Hopefully the Democrats will stop playing games. They've been releasing a picture or two and redacting the faces to make it look like Trump had some liability. And we saw yesterday the victims met with several Democrat female members and told them to cut it out, to tell Robert Garcia, who's my counterpart on oversight, the ranking member, the Democrat, to stop playing politics. The purpose of this investigation from the Oversight Committee standpoint is to provide justice for the victims and get the answers that the American people demand. And I think that with these new documents, we're going to be able to do that.
So again, everybody, 20 celebrity names, 1,200 victims, and right now, there's a lot of people. Guys, I'm not joking. This is next level with what you're about to hear next. That when it comes to the main people, who's the biggest names, who the most photos, it's boiling down to the Clintons, okay? This is nuts. And there's all these photos and stuff. New York Post posts this. I mean, it does not look good. Bill has some explaining to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much. Richard, our boy with the super chat, said unbelievable cover-ups and corruption. Praying for justice with prosecutions. Amen. Show PDX67 some love in the chat, as well as Sue Kamalo, thank you so much for your kindness and blessings. Said for the children, God bless them. Show them some love in the chat. And don't forget to show Jennifer Lewis some love in the chat as well. And give it up for our boy, Jim Barbato. Brother, thank you so much for your kindness and support. Show Jim some love in the chat, as well as Yvonne. Thank you so much, Yvonne Lopez, for the super chat. Guys, you are such a blessing to us and to these children, helping us in our community. You are the best. Show them some love in the chat, everybody. Because again, Clintons are all up in these files, guys. This don't look good. And again, we're hearing it from the insider news. Listen to this.
We're going to drill down tomorrow the Red Green Alliance. You got this, looks like a tranny, some radical lefties, jihadists. It's the Red Green Alliance for this Los Angeles thing. We got to drill down. But John, I want to go back to the story that we're going to start with this morning, pre-dawn when you broke it, is that particularly the audience. A lot of us sitting there going, hey, I got we're at war. Trump's doing great stuff. We're signing these EOs. But how are we going to win this war when the enemy within the deep state that you've been hammering for years and years and years? Tell us about your story when you don't know who's really on your side of the football and who's with us and who's against us, sir.
Well, what you end up seeing in this story this morning is that even during the first Trump administration, there were people in the Justice Department and the FBI who were protecting Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton from the sort of justice they should face for a pay-to-play scheme involving their foundation and Hillary Clinton's decisions as Secretary of State. Extraordinary memos, extraordinary details. We learned for the first time in these documents that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi gave to Chuck Grassley, and Chuck Grassley gave to Just the News, that the FBI first intercepted information suggesting a pay-to-play scheme with Hillary Clinton back in 2010. They were sitting, or they had a recording, a consensual recording made of a conversation by a famous Democrat, Indian-American Democrat donor fundraiser named Chatwell. He would eventually go be convicted of some fundraising crimes. But the concern in that call was not excessive limits or contributions exceeding the limits. It was the idea that foreigners were lining up and they were going to give money to the Clinton Foundation so that Hillary Clinton could make favorable decisions for them and their countries and their foreign companies. That didn't go anywhere during the Obama years. In 2016, 3 separate FBI offices, as you and I have talked about, because these were earlier documents we got, opened up. And then on the Clinton Foundation, Little Rock, Washington, D.C., and New York all believed they had clear evidence of a pay-to-play corruption scheme involving the Clintons. As we mentioned the last time we talked about this, Sally Yates gave a command from the deputy attorney saying, shut it down. But inside the FBI, 16, 17, 18, it kept getting shut down. Andy McCabe kept shutting it down.
Let me tell you guys, again, anything having to do with the Clintons has been protected like nobody's business. And this is, again, goes back to what the heck? Who is protecting who? Like, it's insane to see the unraveling of the deep state right before our eyes, because again, if we're not seeing people being arrested after we know from the files there was 1,200 victims, how in the world do you know that there was 1,200 victims, but when it comes to anything that's the Clintons, guys, they're protected? Even when it came to what happened during the Obama years, even when it came to their foundations, even when it comes to Bill Clinton, like, let me know your thoughts on this, guys, because we're just showing you, like, this, to a common sense person, you would say, hey, somebody probably should be arrested already, after the years and years and years that they've had these documents. And again, this is some of the most saddest news that I've ever posted on this channel. Again, Dan Bongino announced his resignation this week because he was unhappy with the DOJ's plans around the Epstein files release. This is why Dan Bongino left the FBI, guys. This is why we're losing patriots. People are getting fed up. And then, I mean, look, let me tell you this. Losing Dan Bongino out of the FBI is a big, big deal. But not only that, we just saw that Elise Stefanik, who we like, she's great. MAGA, patriot, just all around, great person. We've just found out that Elise Stefanik, has pulled back her run for and suspended her campaign for the 2026 governor of New York, and she's not running for re-election in the House now. Like, we are up to, I think, 32 people out of the GOP that are not going to seek re-election in 2026. We need MAGA people. I believe she's one of them. But when you hear about all this stuff that's happening and people are not getting arrested, people are not getting charged, except for, if it wasn't for, honestly, this guy right here, who is now moving forward with Congress because Pam Bondi hasn't done anything, and you just heard James Comer say it. This is big stuff, everybody. I'm just trying to show you what's happening, because there is no opinions about this. Wrong is wrong. When you got 1,200 victims in the Epstein files, you should, without a shadow of a doubt, have at least dang one person who's been arrested and charged, yet we have seen zero. Let me know your thoughts. Veronica Miski, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said time to put all cards on the table. Amen. Show Veronica some love in the chat. Don't forget to show our boy Jim Barbato some love in the chat, and Jennifer Lewis. Thank y'all so much for your support. People are getting fed up, everybody. And I feel like our community as well, with all the dang comments that I see, that we're losing trust in what we thought was going to be an insane strong DOJ.
Kept putting pressure there to shut it down.
When is the statute of limitations run out on McCabe and these guys to get them up? Because I'm hearing it's like the last week of January of next year.
Well, remember McCabe left in 2017, so 5 years is 2022. The real statute is in 2026. If you take the conspiracy case that Florida is about to begin in January, the clock is ticking. But you can bring a very big conspiracy case, and that case is now underway. For the first time, I can confirm. They're bringing witnesses and evidence before a grand jury in Florida to look at the last decade as one ongoing criminal conspiracy.
Alan John, when we talked pre-dawn this morning, he was to bring you on about breaking news of Just the News and John Solomon Reports. But I got to ask you, President Trump on fire today on the signing of the executive order. What's the importance of this? You got Tom Homan all jacked up. You got everybody focused on fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, the drug cartels as international terrorist organizations, plus cash rolls up for bad guys in Los Angeles on a New Year's Eve bombing. You've got what's happening in Australia. Put it in perspective for us, John Solomon.
I think today was a good reminder that America is currently at war, not in the traditional sense of a World War II or Vietnam War, but in the sense that our enemies are trying to create death and destruction on our soil. They do it with fentanyl, which has now killed more Americans than World War II did. They do it with terror attacks. They do it with hatred and anti-Semitism that eventually leads people to take such extraordinary actions as what we saw in Australia. So I think the president declaring fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction reminds the American people in a powerful way that we are at war in this country right now. We are under.
And I want to let you know, everybody, because again, where does this go to? It's the deep state, guys. There's the deep state. There's the far left progressives that are literally trying to defend these narco terrorists. And I want you to know that 350,000 Americans have died in the past 5 years from fentanyl. 350,000. That is not a small number. That is an insane huge number that we now know because of what? The rampant, they don't care. They let all these people come in. And guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, but Trump going after all these people is a great thing. But it is insane to see how many times the left will defend the terrorists that are trying to bring drugs to kill Americans.
Attack every day in ways that we never saw before in our country's history. And whether it's the Chinese precursor makers or the Venezuelan and Mexican drug cartels, the president has made clear now he considers their actions to be as heinous as a nuclear weapon, as dangerous as a nuclear weapon, and he intends to punish those who perpetrate it like those who would deploy a nuclear weapon on the United States. So really extraordinary day today. Kash Patel keeps stopping terror and school shootings. I mean, you think about 3 or 4 or 5 school shootings I know of this year that they called local police. They rolled up a guy before he did something terrible. That's a great, thing, a more proactive, preemptive FBI. Then, of course, today, a major terror attack that looks like it was a far left group, pro-Palestine far left group that was going to light up Los Angeles on New Year's Eve, and the FBI stopped it before that could happen. So
yes.
A good day for prevention, a good day for reminding the American people that we're at war with enemies, some of them a little less visible than the traditional enemies in the world.
Guys, and I'm telling you, like, this stuff that I'm about to show you next, it's some deep, deep stuff. Because, again, right now, Pam Bondi's ahead of the DOJ. Because she did not follow through with the Transparency Act, we are seeing some stuff come through of they're like, hey, they're going after her right now. They want her to resign. They redacted like 90% of all the Epstein files. And again, it all just comes back to transparency. Do we the people, are we truly being served? Or are we just being told to shut up? Don't forget about it. You got 1,200 victims and no arrest. And trust me, fact check me if I'm wrong. Put it in the dang chat. If there has been an arrest besides Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm talking about these celebrities over the Epstein files, let me know who it was. Ty Matt Chong, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, hey, Joel, we have to win the midterms. Otherwise, it would distort all the things Trump and GOP made. We got to save an American tax cut, cover the seniors. Amen. Brother, that's why, again, when it comes to helping out our seniors, I'm so adamant about this, everybody, because we know that in 2026, Medicare premiums are going up right here. There is going to be an increase, okay? Medicare premiums to increase in 2026. We know that there will be about 5,600 Medicare Advantage plans available nationwide. That is insane to even think about that that's what's out there. That's why we partnered with Chapter. This is a free service to you. If you are turning 65 or if you're over 65 and going through any life change, changing jobs, whether you're moving, just any big life change, call them up. It is a free service to you to help you out with your Medicare, guys. And I'm telling you, hundreds of people on this channel have saved tens. I mean, if you add it all together, it's probably like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but each has saved over thousands of dollars in so much money because they call this company, and it's free. The number is 667-895-3015. Don't spend more on your healthcare than you should. There's too many stuff that's happened that it just blows my mind because hardworking Americans always seem to get screwed in the end, and I'm tired of it. That's why we partner with Chapter to help you save money and make sure you're taken care of. Again, the number is 667-895-3015. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. Give it up to Nelson Feliciano. Thank you so much, our brother Nelson. Said, God bless our children and our country. Amen. Give it up for Hanging Out 3835 said, give those kids a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to all. Let's go. Show Hanging Out some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much. Hanging Out 3835, Jennifer Lewis, Nelson. Show them some love in the chat. Guys, I feel like what I'm about to show you next is that, again, it's all about control, but we finally have some people that are so fed up, they're calling it out in the most blatant way possible, and I'm loving it. Listen to this.
Time has expired, Mr. Roy.
I thank the chairman for holding this hearing. I appreciate the witnesses. Thank you for being here. Couple of questions, and I think I'll start with you, Mr. Rogers. And I'm just going to level set, and some of this may have been covered before I got here, but under President Biden, the TPS population increased from, I believe, somewhere around 410,000 at the end of the first Trump administration to 1.5 million before Biden left office this January, basically quadrupling. Is that roughly correct?
Yes.
In other words, I think, and I've heard some people talking about some of the data, but I just do think it merits observation for the American people. In other words, Biden added over 700,000 aliens to the TPS population, meaning over 70% of all aliens granted TPS initially entered the U.S. during the Biden-Harris administration.
Correct.
TPS is temporary protected status. So, okay, remember, you just heard this. Over 700,000 people were flown in on your tax dollars in planes, giving housing assistance, health care, food stamps, you name it. Over 700,000 dang people to turn them and fast track them to being voters.
So according to federal data and Pew Research, most TPS holders are illegal aliens who crossed the border without authorization or overstayed their visa before receiving TPS, not individuals who are lawfully present on valid temporary visas. Do you agree with that assertion?
Yes.
During the Biden administration's 4 years, nearly 3 million illegal aliens were paroled into the interior and even created the CHNV program in 2022, which created specific parole programs to admit hundreds of thousands of Haitians and Venezuelans, correct?
Correct.
So Venezuela and Haiti received TPS designations in 2023 and 2024, respectively, both after the launch of the mass CHNV parole program in 2022, right?
Yes.
Is it plausible that the Biden administration used TPS to allow large numbers of illegal aliens, Venezuelans, and Haitians to remain in the U.S. since most of these individuals likely did not enter the U.S. lawfully or qualify for asylum?
It's definitely plausible. In fact, there was designations at the beginning of his term, and then they backdated and extended the dates after they let all those people in. So it's very
right. I mean, impeached Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas blew our borders wide open by exploiting asylum and parole. It's fairly well documented, and in my view, breaking the law in doing so. I would think it's well within the realm of possibilities that TPS was also abused to shield those released illegal aliens from deportation, right?
That's definitely plausible.
So, and it just wasn't Haiti and Venezuela, right? Mayorkas and Biden used TPS to shield upwards of 700,000 illegal aliens from Afghanistan, Burma, Cameroon, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Honduras, Lebanon, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Ukraine, Yemen. All true, right?
Correct.
Let me ask you this. The premise for, and maybe I'll ask you, Mr. Fishman, just because I want to spread the wealth here a little bit and have fun with George. The premise for TPS is providing temporary immigration relief to aliens already in the U.S. when a catastrophic event occurs in their home country.
Yes.
Yet, beginning with TPS Liberia in 1997, the executive branch unilaterally created a new authority called a TPS redesignation, right? Which it uses to move up the eligibility cutoff date and cover aliens who come to the U.S. after the event that resulted in the initial grant of TPS.
Yes.
So the term redesignation does not appear in Section 244 of the INA, right?
It does not.
Nevertheless, the executive branch, including the Biden administration, used redesignation to apply the initial designation, even if the event occurred 10 to 20 years ago, to cover recent U.S. present illegal aliens from that country. Is that right?
Yes.
So can you explain how the executive is supposed to square this redesignation with congressional intent, given that it's not stated anywhere in the relevant INA sections?
Well, the USCIS director under President Obama, was very clear. DHS designation can be extended based on things, adverse climatic conditions that have absolutely nothing to do with why TPS was designated for that country in the first place.
So it's like the abuse of parole, like the abuse of asylum. It's abuse of the statutes that Congress put forward to do these designations, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you hold this hearing. I think it's an important topic that we've been able to elevate, and I'll yield back my last 30 seconds for the sake of time.
So again, guys, you just heard it right then and there, that it's just been mind-blowing that everything that we're finding out from the Biden administration, they manipulated, they lied, all this, the facts are the facts. We now know 318,000 fraud ballots were counted in the Georgia election in 2020. The DOJ is now suing Georgia over this election fraud. This would have been a huge turning point, especially for President Trump in the 2020 election. Nevada had an extra week to count. Remember, 6 states stopped counting all at the same time. We had the water pipe burst. Like, isn't it insane that after all this stuff, this was, to me, one of the biggest intentional rigging of elections in our history of our country, and it happened, and now we're finding out all the details. And again, what does this amount to? We need voter ID. We need free and safe elections, but also, too, should President Trump get an extra term because of all this fraud that we have caught right here, everybody? All this right here on the screen. Because of this, does Trump deserve a new, essentially second term, and then the 2020 election is just essentially null and void? Look at this right here. Trump was leading Georgia by 160,000 votes. Then a water pipe burst and 4 suitcases came out. We saw them pulling them from under the seats, from under the tables. Guys, if this isn't, to me, like, the corruption is so real, it's so blatant. I just want to see arrest at the highest level. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much to Carla SU3, let's go, for being a member for 6 months of the channel. Let's go. Pamela Conley, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free membership from Pamela, show her some love in the chat. Growing our family. Thank you so much, Pamela. J Sweets said, great work, brother. My wife, Stacy, and I are shell-shocked at the amount of corruption Trump has brought out of the dark. But keep up the great work. We love you. Big fans. Love you too, J Sweets and Stacy. We thank y'all so much for your support. Show J Sweets and Stacy some love in the chat, as well as Carla SU3 for the super chat. Let's go. Our boy Jim Barbato with my favorite GIF. Let's go. Show Jim some love in the chat. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. And give it up for Brooke Ruff, member of the channel. Said, Dan, leaving for this reason breaks my heart and my spirit. I really thought he and Cash could do this right. Bondi needs to go immediately. So sad. I'm telling you, everybody. Show Brooke Ruff some love in the chat. Pamela Conley, Jim Barbato, Carla. Show Carla some love in the chat. Thank y'all so much for your support. This right here, I'm telling you, is one of the worst things ever. Is how much fraud, how much lying has been happening across the board. Undoubtedly, we have evidence, guys. I wanted to show you this because I think it's like DC. DC is just a cesspool for lies across the board. And I want you to hear this from Judge Janine, because again, too, if we don't root out all of this, we will never be able to root out the deep state. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, listen to this.
D.C. is getting deeper. The U.S. Attorney for D.C., Janine Pirro, posting this. After a review of almost 6,000 reports and the interview of over 50 witnesses, it is evident that a significant number of reports had been misclassified, making crime appear artificially lower than it was. And Janine Pirro joins us now. It's so good to see you. Can you describe in general the scope and scale of what you think happened here?
Well, I think that there certainly was an effort to, misclassify, mischaracterize certain categories of crime. It was an attempt to make crime look lower than it was. And the investigation that we conducted over a period of several months based upon the report of the deflation of numbers was very thorough. As you indicated, over 6,000 reports were looked at, over 50 witnesses. And those witnesses were rank and file from the top down. But the bottom line line here is this. Now we're in a situation with President Trump and the Attorney General Pam Bondi, where every case is being looked at. Every case is being reviewed by my office. So if it appears that the arrest is lower than what the facts show, we're going to upgrade that crime. And you know, Dana, what's amazing to me is that the U.S. Attorney before me in the Biden administration did not go forward with more than 65% of the arrests. That means that even if police made arrests, they weren't being prosecuted. In my office, we go forward with over 90% of the arrests.
Wow.
We review them, we look at them, we see if the evidence is if the law and the evidence support the charging, and we go forward. And this really is a testament to the determination and the focus of the president in making sure that crime is down in our nation's capital. Because when crime is underreported, then police resources are not put in certain areas. And then as a result of that, people don't think they're being protected. They then don't report crime. Now everything has changed. In the period since we had the surge, homicides are down 65% compared to the year before. Carjackings are down 68%, and robberies are down 49%. We're making a difference, but it is a focus on law and order, and it's the federal partners coming in, and the people of the district deserve it.
Right. They do, and I hear it from friends of mine who live there. Many of them still live on Capitol Hill, and they say there is a difference, and they love it that Union Station is a place that they can go again and are not afraid to take their children. Let me talk about more, just...
So again, guys, I'm telling you, across the board, it's like we have Trump's dream team that is trying to fight all the corruption, everything that's happened. But a lot of people and I feel so bad because it's like, I wanted this to be right. But 301 days ago, Pam Bondi said she would release the Epstein files. We just got the essentially final release, 90% redacted. Because of that, we literally have people that are seeking her resignation. Unfortunately, this is from Thomas Massey. AG Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche grossly failed to comply with both the spirit and letter of the law that
the Justice Department...
that Trump signed just 30 days ago. So again, it's a law. She was supposed to release it all and release the celebrities' names. They're saying that there's, Thomas Massey saying that there's 20 names of celebrities. We now know that there's 1,200 victims. And because of this and all this that has happened, they're now going after Pam Bondi. So you let me know, guys, what's your thoughts? I just want to see justice for the victims. Justice for those that were hurt, over 1,200. And you cannot tell me in all the years that we've seen this, that we can't go arrest somebody. Listen to this.
All right, joining me now is New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor Miranda Devine. Miranda, it's great to see you. We've had long conversations together about Jeffrey Epstein, both on and off air. Here now is new information. It is not remarkably new in what has yet been discovered publicly, but is being made available publicly. So what are you looking for in this latest dump on Epstein?
Well, look, I mean, I've started off looking at the photographs because it seemed that the documents that were easily, to look at, and just since it came up, were things that we've already seen, like flight logs, that massage list. Obviously, the so-called masseuses were, in many cases, underage girls, victims of Jeffrey Epstein. So their names were never going to be, and addresses were never going to be released. But photographs of Bill Clinton in a hot tub with what looks like a female with him, and then you can see just a set of female feet next to him. They look quite young. Who knows what that's about? I'd like to, obviously there you have another victim. We can't see the face.
To be clear,
we can't see
really
the
quickly,
age.
Miranda, that is a photo you've seen in the current dump. You've already seen that. That's not one yet that we have seen and been able to share with our audience. We're seeing the one with him in a silk shirt next to Jeffrey Epstein. But the one you just described, you've seen in these documents?
Yeah. Then there are other photographs of Jeffrey Epstein swimming, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's madam, who's in jail, swimming in a pool, an indoor pool, very lavishly appointed with Bill Clinton. There's photos of Bill Gates. Now, I don't know whether they were released from the Epstein estate in the last couple of days, or I haven't actually found them in the trove. Most of it seems to be like it's a voyeur's dream, because there are all these photographs, like the FBI has gone through and forensically photographed every inch of Epstein's various properties. So you can see, you can examine books in a room. There are empty rooms. There are the sort of erotic art on the walls. I mean, that'll be interesting, but it will take a long time to get through that. I don't see any bombshells, but maybe they're there, because this has not been curated in any way. There's just too much information.
Well, we'll do our...
So I'm telling you, everybody, just like what she said there, that the level of corruption across the board is insane. And again, when you look at there is congressional leaders that know what's happened, okay? And now we know when Dan Bongino announced his resignation this week because he was unhappy with the DOJ plans from the Epstein files, it's just sad. It's just sad. And we still haven't even gotten to the bottom of it, y'all. We still have so much that we're trying to figure out of what's happened. And again, I'm going to show you something in a minute, because it's like the deep state, whether it's Jack Smith, the Clintons, Epstein, you have Letitia James, all of them. Like, somebody has got to be charged. Somebody's been arrested. They could do it to Trump. How in the world can we still not do it to any of them when we have hard evidence, essentially? OGD Dog, been a member for 14 months. Show OGD Dog some love in the chat, everybody. Give it up for our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the family. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. Carla SU3, thank you so much. Said Merry Christmas for the children and the other ones. I love it. Show Carla and Jim some love in the chat, as well as our boy Mr. Tracy J. Norby, OG of the family. Thank you so much, brother, for your faithful support. Mr. Norby been with us for a while. I love it. True OG. Give it also up to Alice Lewis and April Green for helping us with getting likes. Sweet Kitten, Warrior Woman, thank y'all so much for your support. Show Sue Kamalo some love in the chat for her support. And our boy Ralph Campbell, Mobile Welding, said Dan got into this thinking he was going to make a big change, but found out there were so many people against him. Can't wait to hear what he says on his pod. Love you members, and Joel, keep up the fight. Show our friends some love in the chat, everybody. And thank you so much again, too, to Hanging Out 3835, Jennifer Lewis, Pamela Connolly, for all your support. Because again, what I'm about to show you next, you cannot tell me that everything that I'm showing you, that there is literally nothing that we can go against these people. Listen to this.
Here with more. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is with us. Well, we had John Solomon on last night. What did we learn? That apparently the FBI was saying that you don't have probable cause, and they went in anyway. And then we have the issue of the dual system of justice, because Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, top secret, classified information, not covered by the Presidential Records Act. Nothing happened in those cases. Your reaction to what happened today?
Yeah. Well, Jack Smith testified for 7 hours, and none of that time did it change my belief, as you said, Sean, that this was all political. His investigation, like Alvin Bragg, like Fonnie Willis, was driven by politics. And the information that came out confirms what we had learned in a deposition with the former head of the FBI in the Washington field office, Mr. D'Antuono, when he said that when they did the raid on Mar-a-Lago on President Trump's home, that they shouldn't have done it. If they were going to go, they should have notified President Trump's lawyers. They should have accompanied them on all these things that he said we should have done instead of how it was actually conducted by the Garland Justice Department. So I can't get into the details of Mr. Smith's testimony, but I will tell you he did not take the fifth like his deputies did. We have deposed 3 of his deputies. They took the fifth, a couple of them took the fifth multiple times, 70 and 71 times respectively. One of them we referred to the Justice Department because we believe he was truly obstructing our investigation. We don't do many of these referrals. The facts have to be there, and we did for Mr. Wyndham, one of his deputies. So I think we got some important information today, particularly on something we've talked about, You know, them using these, getting the phone logs. Think about this, Sean. The Speaker of the House, Jack Smith waits until Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker of the House. Then he goes to the carrier, to AT&T, says, I want his phone records from 2 years prior, and I want them for a 2-month time period. And oh, by the way, we're going to go to a judge and tell AT&T, you can't tell your customer, the highest Republican in the government, that the government is getting his phone records. I mean, they know when he...
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is like who I want to see as leader of the House. Somebody with this fire. Every time you hear Mike Johnson, he's always just like, yeah, this is what we're trying to do, and this. We need some passion, just like how Trump has for our country in some leadership positions, not just like Mike Johnson and Leader Thune. Like, this is what I want to see. Let me know your thoughts.
Called someone, when someone called him, how long the call lasted, and if Kevin initiated it, they know where he was at when he did so. So we got into those kind of issues as well. But again, I can't get into the details of his response until we actually review the transcript and release that publicly.
Jim Jordan, that sounds an awful like unreasonable search and seizure. It sounds like no probable cause, and this was a witch hunt. Jim Jordan,
I'm telling you, everybody. But I wanted to show you some good news, guys, because again, a lot of stuff is coming our way when it comes to what Trump is doing, when it comes to the drug prices, what Trump is doing when it comes to the massive refunds that are going to be hitting Americans' wallets, guys, this next year. I love it because, again, even in the midst of all this craziness, what I love is that Trump is still like, how do we make sure we put money into the average American's pocket? That's a true, like, it's not, and again, too, it's not just borrowed. It's something that we created through the tariff revenue that we're giving back to Americans, guys. This is what we want. Listen to this.
Prices are finally giving Americans some breathing room. Egg prices down double digits. Dairy and butter are cheaper, and real wages, after years of declines, are now up about 1% since Trump took office.
Because of tariffs, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars more than we ever have before. With no inflation, by the way, with no inflation. You saw the inflation numbers, it just came out today. What great timing. Practically no inflation. And yet we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars.
The White House says that this isn't an accident or a coincidence. Trump credits tariffs for bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars, as he said, arguing that they're boosting domestic investment without reigniting inflation, despite what experts said earlier this year. So the pitch is really simple. More tax relief, more jobs, and more money staying in the pockets of American families. Steve, after his national address at the White House the other evening, we get that inflation report yesterday, came in cooler than expected, 2.7%. The naysayers are all saying, oh, well, you can't trust that report because of the government shutdown, rather than just acknowledging the inflation boogeyman never came.
Well, a problem with the president is, and hopefully the new year will solve the problem, is that as we go to the supermarkets, a lot of things are still going up. Prices are still high in a lot of areas. People still don't feel good about housing. They don't feel good about health care. They're wondering whether they should send their kids to college. So it's pretty much of a headwind. However, I'm old enough to remember back in the dinosaur age of 1982 when Ronald Reagan was in office.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, woolly mammoths were around too. But Reagan had headwinds, and then it turned to tailwinds when his program kicked in. Now, a couple of things the president has to watch out for. One is the Supreme Court, I think, will rule against him on tariffs.
Okay.
And that actually would be good for the economy, even though he won't like it. And by the way, those Patriot checks will still go out. And the other thing to watch out for, other than what's happening overseas, is the Federal Reserve still believing that prosperity causes inflation. So he's going to appoint a new chair. I think it'll be Bessent, and I think Hassett will. Kevin Hassett will go to the Treasury Department, and they've got to get the Fed off this idea that prosperity is bad for the economy. So that'll be a big battle. The dollar is weak. They've got to, and one of the things I wish the president would do is firmly say, we need a strong and stable dollar. Stop this talk about a weak dollar helps the trade balance. Just remember, George W. Bush tried that, and we saw the consequences.
Real quick before we move on, do you think we're poised for this Reagan type of boom that the president is describing, the way the policies have been laid out? Do you think it materializes as he is promising Americans it will?
Well, the cash flows of corporations are huge. Even though there's a corporate minimum tax that was slipped in several years ago under Joe Biden, the cash flows are still very positive. So if people can have some confidence that things aren't going to be changing again, yes, they will be investing. And the thing is, if you have a stable dollar, and one of the other things, of course, it's Christmas time, so you always hope for presents, is another reconciliation bill where they cut the corporate tax rate down to 15, as he wanted to do, cut the capital gains tax down to 15, and cut personal income tax rates, especially for middle income brackets.
Okay.
You do that, and the economy's going to be good, and the memories of this December will go by the boards, including the New York football team's just a bad memory.
It sounds like we have some stocking.
Let me tell you this, everybody, because this is happening. This got reaffirmed, double down again, that Trump is going to be sending out to middle and low income class Americans $2,000 tariff dividend payments in 2026. It's all a part of the plan. Trump is playing 4D chess while everybody else is playing checkers. And you guys, if you appreciate this, if you want to see these checks in your bank account, hit the thumbs up like button, because I'm telling you, it's all going to happen. And again, right before the midterms, letting people feel it, just like these service members that just got these $1,776 checks. They felt it right before Christmas, and those memories stick. That you have a president who says, you know what, I am going to make sure that you get some money. With everything that we're doing, there's no reason we shouldn't be helping out the average American, because for so long, y'all been getting screwed over with taxes. We want everybody to win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Stuffers that we can look forward to. Just on the military dividends, it sounded like in the address that those were coming from the tariffs, but my understanding is actually it's a reallocation from part of the defense budget, and that they can do that. So if the tariffs were to be struck down, I'm not necessarily sure what the court would say about what would have to happen to that money, if it would have to be returned in some way. It's very complicated, but that's why it wouldn't impact those military dividends, which I think is an important point.
Yeah, I like that they disconnected it from the tariffs. Like they're going to do the dividend. They've got money set aside that they can use for that. That's great. I like the dividend. Steve Forbes, only you could come up with a Christmas gift of lower corporate tax rate. That is so on brand for you. I just love it.
Uh-oh.
Can I argue a little bit with the idea of the headwinds versus tailwinds? Mm-hmm. I feel like the president's got more tailwind than headwind going into 2026. Inflation is down. You can argue with the number we got for November, but it to me looks like it's moving in a good direction. Jobs picture, I think, is a little messed up because you have the immigration issue. But I think that might be moving in the right direction. You know, the tax policy is going to have us moving in the right direction. So I look at all of that, and I would say 2026, he's got tailwind. Sail with it. Don't get in the way of that. You know, tack, or I'm not a sailor, tack, or whatever you have to do to use that tailwind. Don't introduce new uncertainty. But I feel like the president's got a good tailwind, and that's why him getting out on the road and talking about this is timed very well. Mm-hmm. If it was a headwind and he was out here doing this, I think his message would fall flat. But I think it'll have some resonance.
I think the headwinds are about perception.
Yes.
You can say the numbers, like wages are starting to move up again. People still don't feel they're on top of things. The tax cuts on tips and overtime and things like that, that'll help people who are struggling from check to check. So reality has to catch up to perceptions, and people have to feel, yes, things are going in the right direction. And so, yes, in that sense, he does have the tailwind. Mm-hmm. But he also, though, I think has to reinforce the dollar, reinforce getting a new big tax cut, because the tax cuts were primarily focused, avoided a big disaster, $4 trillion disaster tax increase.
Yep.
But also, though, we need more juice, you might say, for individuals, corporations, and for investors, capital gains. And one of the weird things is why the Republicans have such allergies about cutting the capital gains tax. They're always going to be accused of helping the rich. even if they do nothing. So they're always going to get that accusation. The nice thing about cutting capital gains taxes, it instantly raises revenue. Immediately. It's an immediate, you don't have to wait 2 years or 3 years or for headwinds and tailwinds and all that kind of stuff. Does it from day one.
Okay.
Something else that we're anticipating.
And guys, again, this is the big stuff today of what they're talking about. Putting Americans back on track to win. It's all because I've been working on this show, guys, a big show for you tomorrow. But President Trump came out and he eviscerated Tim Walz after the $9 billion in fraud was exposed. So I've been working on building out how much billions of dollars, potential billions of dollars, how many investigations are happening, how many billions of dollars are the potential in fraud, like all this stuff we've been working on that I'm going to present in tomorrow's show. But to me, this is the thing that's happening now. We're winning. MAGA's winning. Service members are getting checks. I just showed you we're going to send out $2,000 checks to low and middle income class earners. Trump is catching all the fraud. He has all the momentum behind him. How do we keep it going? How do we make sure that we can 100% win the midterms in such a way that it just shows everybody wants to be on the side of winning with Trump and MAGA? Forget the Republicans, forget the Democrats. I want MAGA. Like, make America great again. Always America first. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're with this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, because I'm telling you, the more that we show these people, everybody, the facts, this is what's really going to create change when people see the receipts. So if you're watching and you're not a part of our family yet, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button. And thank you to everybody that shares our videos on X, on Facebook. Guys, this is big stuff that's happening. And we do a show every single day because we want to show you all the receipts. There's so much news that's going on. We try to consolidate it into an hour show to make sure you get the most content possible with the most value. And also, too, we try to serve you, our viewer, with who we are partnered with, like this company right here. If you're on Medicare, if you're turning 65, if you're going through any life change, big life change, whether you're moving, changing jobs, or you lost your health insurance, this company right here has already blessed hundreds and hundreds of people on this channel, saving them thousands and thousands of dollars in their healthcare insurance a year. Go get your blessing. Then it is a free service to you. The number is 667-895-3015. We're so thankful for your support, and we're just here to serve you. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News. I promise you, you'll be blessed. The number's in the description, as well as at the bottom of the screen. I want to give some special love to those that have given today. Give it up to our boy Chris Perez for his gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Brother, you are so awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Give it up, OG of the family. Also, show Kim Monayan some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Kim, for your support. Donna Storino, give it up for Jennifer Lewis, OG of the family, member of the channel. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for your support. We're so thankful for you. Our boy Richard, thank you so much. PDX67 is his tag name. Thank you so much, brother. Sue Camilo, thank you so much, Sue, for your support for the children. God bless you. And give it up for our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the family, big giver. Thank you so much, brother. You are the man. Thank you so much for helping us and our giving every single day. What a blessing. Show Jim some love in the chat, as well as Yvonne Lopez. Thank you so much. Veronica Miski, Tai Matt Chong. Thank you so much, brother. Nelson Feliciano. Show Nelson some love in the chat. It's just a fun name to say. Nelson Feliciano. Hanging Out 3835. Thank you so much. Show Hanging Out some love in the chat, everybody. Carla SU3, thank you so much for your support. Pamela Conley, thank you for the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Show Pamela some love in the chat. Jim Barbato, give it up for Jim again. Thank you so much, brother. Brooke Ruff, thank you for your support. We appreciate you so much. OG D-Dog, been a member for 14 months, baby. Thank you so much to our boy, the true OG of the family, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Thank you, brother, for your support and your better half. We couldn't do it without you helping us out for so long, your faithful support. Show Mr. Norby some love in the chat, as well as our boy Mr. Ralph Campbell, Mobile Welding. Alice Lewis, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Chris Prez, our girl April Green, thank you so much. And Google user Let's go, Sid. Send me that $2,000, Mr. President. I love it. Guys, thank y'all so much for your support. Thank you for sharing our videos on X and Facebook. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.